Your greatest enemy isn't out there in the world, it's in your mind. This might sound bold, but it's the truth that many of us are uncomfortable facing. We like to believe that the struggles we face, the stress, the doubt, the fear, all come from external sources, from the jobs we work, the people we meet, and the obstacles we encounter along the way. But the reality is much deeper and more personal than that. Your real enemy isn't out there, it's in here, in your mind. The same thoughts you rely on to guide you through life can also be your worst saboteurs. These thoughts whisper doubts, feed your anxieties, and keep you trapped in cycles of suffering. But why? Why do the very thoughts we trust to lead us end up trapping us instead? Many of us live our lives believing our thoughts are on our side, that they're always working in our best interest. But here's the hard reality. Your thoughts often aren't your allies. Have you ever found yourself spiraling into stress or worry until you're completely consumed by negativity? It happens because we never stop to question our thoughts. We simply obey them, as if every single one deserves our attention. But this is where suffering begins. Your mind isn't always an ally. Sometimes it's the silent saboteur standing between you and the peace you seek. Think of your mind as an endless conveyor belt, constantly delivering thought after thought, too fast to catch, too wild to control. And here's the twist. Most of us don't even realize we're standing right in the middle of it. Thoughts keep coming, whether we want them or not. Have you ever tried to stop your thoughts just for a moment, only to realize you couldn't? Why does that happen? This conveyor belt of chaos moves on its own, and as long as we stand in the middle, we're swept along with it. But there's a way out. The first step is to step back, to see the belt for what it is. Once you realize this, the game changes. You don't have to listen to every thought that comes down the conveyor belt. In fact, you have a choice. The moment you understand that not every thought deserves your attention is the moment you begin to take control. But what does it mean to choose a thought? How do you even begin to sift through the chaos and focus only on the thoughts that serve you? This is where your journey toward mastering your inner world begins. You hold the power of choice in your hands. Are you ready to use it? You are not one person, you are two. Yes, two versions of yourself are constantly at war, each fighting for control over your life. One is your higher self, the part of you that seeks growth, fulfillment, and long-term success. This higher self sees beyond the present moment, pushing you to reach your fullest potential. Then there's your lower self. This version only cares about one thing: comfort. It craves instant gratification and will do anything to avoid discomfort, even if that means sacrificing your future. Every single thought you have is like a soldier, fighting for one of these two sides. The question is, which side are you empowering? History is full of power struggles. Look at Julius Caesar, Napoleon, even Gandhi. They all fought for something they believed in. But no battle in history compares to the internal tug-of-war between your higher and lower selves. This is the most important fight you will ever face because it determines the direction of your life. So what does your higher self want? It wants you to grow, to take risks, to challenge yourself, and to move toward the life you truly desire. What does your lower self crave? Comfort, safety, the easy way out. One seeks your growth, the other your downfall. It's a constant struggle happening within you every single day. The tricky part? The lower self is a master of deception. It uses sweet, tempting words like relax, take it easy, or just this once. But behind those words is a trap. A trap that keeps you stuck in the same place, never moving forward. How many times have you been tempted to watch just one more episode of your favorite show, only to find the whole day has slipped away? Sounds familiar, right? That's the lower self at work. It knows exactly what to say to keep you in your comfort zone, far away from the discomfort of growth. The question is, are you willing to let it win? Here's where it gets even trickier. Your thoughts don't always wear a label that says good or bad. They can disguise themselves as helpful or protective. Fear might whisper, "Don't take that risk, you'll fail," and it feels like it's shielding you from pain. Doubt might say, "Maybe you're not ready for this," and it seems like it's saving you from disappointment. But how do you know when a thought is really helping you and when it's holding you back? This is where the battle becomes nuanced. Not every thought with good intentions is truly serving your growth. Some of the most dangerous thoughts come wrapped in a comforting blanket of hesitation or caution. They seem rational, but they subtly plant seeds of self-doubt. Before you know it, you're stuck. Remember the time you sat down to work on a goal, only to get distracted for a minute? Maybe you told yourself, I'll just check my phone real quick. But that quick detour turned into an hour of scrolling and your goals got buried under a pile of distractions. That's how the lower self operates. It doesn't hit you all at once. It pulls you slowly, one thought at a time, until you're completely off track. So how do we break free from this cycle? Whenever a thought pops up, follow it to its end. Ask yourself, what action is this thought trying to lead me toward? What's the real motive behind it? This is where critical thinking comes into play. Get into the habit of examining every thought, not just taking it at face value. Not every thought is a friend, even the ones that seem like they have your best interest in mind. Some are there to keep you comfortable, to hold you back from the discomfort of growth. The more you can spot these manipulative thoughts, the more control you gain over your life. You are not your thoughts, you are the observer of them. It's a simple yet life-changing realization. Most people live their lives believing they are their thoughts, that every passing worry, doubt, or fear is part of who they are. But the truth is, you are not the river of thoughts constantly flowing through your mind. You are the one standing on the shore, watching it. Imagine standing at the edge of a river, observing the water rushing by. The water represents your thoughts, always moving, sometimes calm, sometimes wild. But you are not swept away by the current. You're the observer. This shift in perspective is the key to mastering your mind. You're no longer trapped by the chaos of your thoughts. You can watch them pass without letting them control you. Here's something even more powerful. Have you ever tried ignoring a thought, only to find yourself arguing with it in your head? You tell yourself, don't think about this, but the thought only gets louder. That's because even arguing with a thought gives it power. It keeps you engaged with the very thing you're trying to escape. But what if you just stopped? What if you didn't argue, didn't correct, didn't push the thought away? What if you simply observed it and then let it go? It sounds difficult, but it's possible. The more you practice detaching from your thoughts, the easier it becomes. You stop feeding the noise, and without your attention, the thought weakens. This is the art of detachment. It's not about fighting your thoughts. It's about recognizing that they don't deserve your energy in the first place. When the noise in your head becomes too loud, how do you stay grounded? The answer lies in the present moment. The best way to escape a manipulative thought is to bring your attention back to what's happening right now. This is where practices like meditation come into play. Meditation isn't about forcing your mind to be quiet. It's about learning to observe your mind without reacting to it. Try this. Next time you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts, focus on your breathing. Just breathe in, breathe out, and notice how your thoughts start to lose their grip on you. You'll see how quickly the noise fades when you anchor yourself in the present. The present moment is your safe space, your place of refuge. The more you practice returning to it, the more you'll realize that the chaos in your mind is just that, noise. It doesn't define you. You're the observer, and you're in control. Mastering your thoughts is not a one-time event. It's a journey. Just like building physical strength, training the mind requires consistency and patience. You wouldn't expect to go to the gym once and become instantly fit, right? The same goes for your mind. Each time you consciously choose not to follow a harmful thought, you're strengthening your mental discipline. Every effort, no matter how small, brings you closer to mastery. Think of it like this. Every time you successfully step back and observe your thoughts instead of reacting to them, you're adding another rep to your mental workout. Over time, these small victories build up, and you'll find that the thoughts that once had power over you no longer carry the same weight. But remember, failure is a part of the process. No one wins every battle with their lower self. Even the most disciplined people give in sometimes, and that's okay. Failure isn't a setback, it's a step forward. Each time you stumble, you learn something about yourself. What triggered you? What thoughts did you listen to? Understanding your failures is just as important as celebrating your successes. This is why self-compassion is so vital. Don't beat yourself up when you falter. Instead, see it as an opportunity to grow. The path to mastery is paved with both wins and losses, but it's the consistency that keeps you moving forward. So how do you sustain long-term success? How do you ensure that the lower self doesn't keep gaining ground over time? One of the most powerful tools at your disposal is reflection. Take time to document your thoughts, your patterns, and your progress. Writing down what you've learned from each experience will help you see where you're improving and where you still need work. It's like keeping a personal growth journal. Each entry helps you stay accountable to yourself. Over time, these reflections become a roadmap to your inner world, showing you the way forward. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Win more battles today than you did yesterday. With every choice you make, you're either empowering your higher self or your lower self. Choose wisely and stay committed to the journey.